12 days away from the midterm elections, and we spend most of our time covering local races. There's great value in casting, though, I think, a wider net, and that's what we're going to do right now. There are 3 regional races that will go a long way to determine if the Democrats retake the House and Republicans hold control of the Senate. And we're lucky enough to have Medill School of Journalism graduate student Beverly Banks with us here on the afternoon report, and she's just back from doing some actual on-the-ground reporting in West Virginia and Tennessee, and so we're calling on her right now to tell us a little bit about what she found. Beverly, it's good to have you back. You're a native West Virginian, so let's begin, first of all, there. The Senate race, Joe Manchin, a Democrat in about as red Republican a state as you can possibly imagine. The latest poll has him up by 16 points.
Yep.
What's going on there?
So it's interesting. My colleagues and I, we went to a forum with Senator Manchin and Richard Ojeda, and he is the congressional candidate for the House in the 3rd District. And so we went there and we interacted with the voters, and we found that they have a lot of support there. So contrary to popular belief, even though the state is very red, Manchin is very popular and has continued to do so through his term.
He was the Democrat who voted yes on Kavanaugh, and now he voted yes after there were enough votes to confirm. But nevertheless, there are plenty of Democrats in that state who said he did what he had to do to get reelected. And let's be honest here, it's all about being elected. You're no good if you're on the outside, right?
That's right, that's right. And one of the voters that we talked to said that she was actually really happy that Manchin voted for Kavanaugh, so I think that did help him there.
You mentioned the race in the 3rd Congressional District there, and that's probably worthy of our talking about. If you're not familiar with the 3rd Congressional District of West Virginia, and you probably have no real reason to be unless you live there, southwestern West Virginia, Huntington, Bluefield, Princeton, and Beckley, it is a 94% white congressional district, and you'd be hard-pressed, I think, to find a lot of places more one color than you do the 4th. What do we see in that race right now?
I think that race has been interesting because the polls are showing Ojeda's the Democrat, and he has led at some points, but Carolyn Miller, the Republican, has also led. So it's really a toss-up at this point, and what we see is Ojeda is a different kind of Democrat than what Manchin is. You know, he's very authentic. He was part of the teacher strike that happened back in February of this year, and he's gained a lot of support through that. So it's not unlikely that he could be elected.
This theme of Republicans and Democrats maybe not necessarily being tied at the hip to the national party runs through all of our discussions here. It's certainly the case with Joe Manchin. It's the case in the 3rd District. It also turns out to be the case in Tennessee.
Yes.
The Senate race there could be very important to the Republicans.
So you see with that race in Tennessee, you've got Phil Bredesen, former governor. He won all 95 counties in his re-election bid in 2006. And then we see in 2016, you know, the state went red. And that's where Marsha Blackburn comes in. A lot of people support Marsha because she supports Trump's agenda.
Again, you have a very Republican state, and yet you have Phil Bredesen, who won all 94 counties, who sort of hews to the line of Democrats who have won in a state that you would think of as being traditionally Republican. Tennessee's been doing this for a while, haven't they?
Yes, they have. You know, Bredesen brings this kind of moderate Democrat to the table, and a lot of people are drawn to that. Although we've talked to some voters who said that, you know, that's his only hope right there is to be in that race and to vote for him. And so it's kind of interesting to see that flip side of, you know, what voters are thinking there.
What's your gut feeling on that in Tennessee? And I know that's a tough thing to ask.
It's a tough thing to ask. You know, I think it's anyone's race, and I think that it's not impossible for a Democrat to win, but I wouldn't count Republicans out, and I wouldn't count out the Kavanaugh push that's happened and some of the other issues that are going on there with education and border security.
Beverly Banks is about to get out of school and go on out and do what we do in this business, and I think wherever she winds up, the folks there are going to be really well served because she has a very sharp eye, and we really appreciate your sharing it with us.
Thank you so much, Dave.
We're back with more right after this.